Very good question. First of all, with the infrastructure, back to Mr. Eisner, he's been saying it all night, we have to get the infrastructure upgraded in order to get things better for this area. As far as getting AT&T to bring the broadband in, it definitely needs to happen. There's no doubt about that. The call centers are a great source of work. My brother actually works at one. They pay a fairly decent wage, and I believe that it would be a great business to have in this area. As far as getting them here, that's the next true question. How do you bring them here when they are windy roads? And believe you me, they are. I get car sick quite a bit coming across the mountain, but it's definitely a task that we've got to grab by the hand, or the horns, if you want to call it that, and go at it. I believe that by having a broadband, you will also be able to show the tourism side of Pocahontas County, which there is plenty to be proud of over here. You have Droop Mountain just right across the way. Beautiful area, known for the Civil War. I mean, my entire family was in the Civil War, so it's a nice thing to go and see those sites where they got to fight, and to actually step back and see where our country's come from that time period, and move forward to what we have today. But I will definitely work with anybody that I can, like Time Warner, AT&T, whoever it may be, Frontier, to make sure that we can get a broadband system in here and get those call centers open, because I do believe it would be vital to this area.
Well, they have a corporate charter to do business in West Virginia, and it's their duty to do things in the interest of the common good, in addition to corporate profits. I'm sure they had a lot of eminent domain rights to put their lines through originally. I would not be opposed to just give them an ultimatum that they revoke their corporate charter and put them into like a sort of receivership, like they did with the Teamsters years ago when they weren't operating in the interest of the Teamsters members. I mean, these corporations that just use all this public goodwill and eminent domain to get through what they want, and then they start pocketing these obscene profits and just let the people go and don't do their duty in the communities where they had those rights. It's wrong. And I would use big government. I mean, there's this whole big thing about big government, small government. It depends on the job. It's like a hammer. If you're driving fence posts, you need a big hammer. If you're doing upholstery, a small hammer. But sometimes you need big government to just come in and squeeze these people. And they would do it. They would do it. They're not going to just pull out and walk away, or you could have it taken over by the state if they just don't cooperate, because it's vital to the economic well-being and education of the people of West Virginia. It's as critical as like highways nowadays, and so this is a serious matter, and they need to stop being so greedy and give a little bit back.
Thank you. Mr. Hartman?
Thank you very much. I think that rather than concentrating on punishing somebody, that maybe we should create some competition among the communication companies. I know CityNet is doing some work in Elkins right now, and I'm sure that Frontier's looking over their shoulder to see what they're doing. The Broadband Council has been reinstituted, and I think that that's very important. I think if we're going to solve this problem, it has to be a concerted effort between the government and also private entities, but we definitely need to get more folks involved than just one company. And here again, Frontier always seems to be the bad guy in this issue in this area. But I think if we can attract other companies to become involved and create some competition, but somehow on the middle mile, I think the government has to be involved to a certain degree. There was some stimulus money that was used a few years ago that was not used very well, but I think that we have to guard against something like that happening again. But I certainly believe that public-private partnership and competition on the private side of the house is very important if we're going to solve the problem.
Thank you. Mr. Eisner?
Well, I think I've talked about the internet and the need for that in almost every question that's been asked here tonight. Any small business that we want to bring in here, any call center, any manufacturing job, is going to require the use of high-speed internet. We've got some beautiful hardwoods here. You can make the best and most beautiful furniture in the world right here in your own backyard with very low costs. But if you can't put up a website, then you can't sell that across the country. You can't start that small business that you'd like to start. That could be done right here, out of Pocahontas, out of Randolph County. So it's critical. Our area is beautiful. Tourism will always bring people into the area. How do we find a way for them to stay? Well, they're not going to stay without the internet and without the other infrastructure items that I've talked about as we've gone forward here today. It goes back to my idea about investing the tax base that we have in preparing for the future rather than just trying to put out the fire that's in front of us at the moment. The Frontier's done a good job in using some of the stimulus money they've been given to good connectivity to the facility up at the industrial park that I've talked about. There's actually recent connectivity between Marlinton and Snowshoe and Greenbank in the areas here locally. The technical problem, as I understand it, is from there out and into the rest of the world. And how do we get them to increase spending and do the things necessary to connect us, to the rest of the world, so that you're not getting 4 meg speeds, you can get 50 meg speeds. And Mountain Party candidates have suggested some sort of punishment. I think there might be some legal issues with that. I think Mr. Hartman suggested a public-private partnership. I think there are some good ideas with that. If we can provide some stimulus to get them to use it and open it up and then require them to allow other companies to use it and create some competition between the companies, that's how you're going to get higher quality service. Competition is going to breed that.
Thank you. Mr. Colson?
Yes. Internet is absolutely extremely important. As you mentioned, there are stay-at-home jobs where you can do internet at home jobs. You can do education online, things like that. So definitely, internet is extremely important, particularly to rural areas such as this. So you can bring businesses in. I think the way to try to get Frontier to make good on their high-speed internet that they, I believe the question said that they advertise and charge for, I believe is how the question was worded. I agree with what Mr. Hartman said as well as what Mr. Eisner said. There needs to be some competition. I think in order to to make a company provide something that's a little bit better, they have to see that maybe we can do better. If this company can come in and be able to immediately offer speeds of 50 megs or above, then we should be able to do that as well. And I think that it's very important that when it comes to how money is spent and how the West Virginia spends the money for trying to get some of these companies in, that we make sure that we're not just trying to provide extremely high-speed internet speeds for Charleston or for Huntington or for Wheeling, for some of these bigger cities, but for for Elkins, for Valley Head, for Mill Creek, for for Durbin, for some of these areas here in Randolph County and in Pocahontas County, and I think that's extremely important. I think the primary thing is, though, make sure that Frontier understands that they are providing a service, and that their service should be provided the way that they advertise it.
Thank you.